Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy, 2Wise. With the NHL trade deadline ending on April 12th, today we're going to be looking at the major trades and seeing if any of those Young Gun cards are worth buying or selling. Before we get started, let me just mention that all this info is for raw cards only. My suggestions are not necessarily meant to be acted on immediately, more so how I see the market moving for that particular card. The first major trade of the year happened on April 7th between the Islanders and the Devils, sending Palmieri with Zajac to the Islanders for Greer Jobst and a couple picks there. We're going to be focusing on the Kyle Palmieri Young Gun from the 2010-11 set. I have here a chart of his raw card over the last 90 days or so, starting at $5 and peaking at $20 on April 8th. So you can see that the value has actually been increasing, and you can see right after the trade is where it peaked. I also have his trend data here showing a 66% increase since the end of January, with the lowest sell being $260 and the highest sell being that $19.99 right after the trade. But the average sale for the last 14 days is $14.30. This card is pretty cheap. Buying it doesn't really hurt you here. I looked at the pop reports and there's only 7 PSA 10s, so it's not a very popular card. I personally don't think the Islanders are going to win the East. The card has been trending up over the years as we look at the sales data from his rookie year, but it may not have much of an ROI. Also, he is a UFA after this season, so we might want to see where he ends up. So my recommendation is hold. Next, we have the veteran Nick Foligno being traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a couple of picks, including a 2021 first-rounder. Toronto is a much bigger market than Columbus, that goes without saying, so we can anticipate a price increase, especially if he helps bring them to the Cup Finals or even on a deep playoff run. The addition of a guy like Foligno just goes to show Toronto is bracing for a deep playoff run like that, and I believe with the new division layout this year that they could actually do it, even get to the conference finals. And you can see just off this chart right here, there was an incredible bump immediately after the trade deadline, going up to $28, and then his price came back down to earth more recently. But you can see the trend line going in the upward direction, which is what we like to see. His most recent average sale for the last 14 days was $11.78, with a 584% increase from that $1.60 sale in mid-February. We can compare that to his rookie year sales, which were right in that $3-4 range. And if we just look at what's being sold on eBay right now, we can already see people using the Leafs debut as a selling point for their card with fixed prices at $28. So with Toronto being as good as they are and as big of a market as it is, I would actually say sell on Foligno, considering he's an unrestricted free agent. But I would wait till maybe mid-playoffs, especially if they go on a deep playoff run. And if you think they can win the Cup, then hold till right after the Cup. And next up, we have arguably the biggest trade of the year with Taylor Hall going to the Bruins. Everybody speculated all year where he was going to land, and the Bruins get him for a second-round pick and Anders Bjork. And the Bruins also got Curtis Lazar in this trade, so I believe that's a win for the Bruins. We'll be looking at his 2010-2011 Young Guns card. This season had a bigger spike in mid-January, maybe people anticipating the beginning of the season with him being on Buffalo, combined with Jack Eichel. Maybe people had high hopes for that team. And he got a little bit of a bump there right at the end of the chart. The spike in January actually takes the average and makes it look like it's been decreasing throughout the season. But if we compare it to the sales in December and look at the trend data here, we can actually see a $20 increase and a 75% growth over the last 90 to 120 days or so, with the last 14-day sale average being $47.10. Compared to the sales from his rookie year, it is down, which is to be expected. Yes, he did have that Hart Trophy year, but he hasn't really been playing on good teams, which leads me to my point that he is a number 1 overall pick with a Hart Trophy. He's never been on a team this good. The Bruins are on a 4-game winning streak now, beating Washington and the Islanders, and Hall has 2 goals and 1 assist in those 4 games. I can easily see the Bruins in the Stanley Cup Finals. He is an unrestricted free agent after this, but he said he would sign with Boston If he signs a contract with the Bruins, his card value will significantly increase, especially if the Bruins can go on a deep playoff run or win the Cup. He may be hot right now. You can risk buying and flipping after the playoffs, or wait for the hype to die down and buy after the playoffs, maybe in August during the preseason. But in my opinion, no matter which way you look at it, Taylor Hall is a buy right now. Next, we have the Penguins acquiring Jeff Carter from the Kings for a couple conditional picks. We all know what happened last time Carter was traded to a Cup contender. Oh, nope, it's more like it. Carter is 36 years old, but he does add depth to the second line on the Penguins. His 05-06 card has been steadily increasing throughout the year, peaking just over $12. Looking at the trends here, it's up 83% from January, up about $5.91 from the lowest sale, but the last 14-day average sale is $7.51, with the most recent sale average actually being at $13, and that could be a part of the post-trade deadline spike. But if we compare it to his sales in July of 2012 after his first Cup with the Kings, there wasn't really much of a price increase for his card. The trade does smell to me like a deep playoff run and double-digit goals, but the Penguins division is probably the hardest division in hockey right now. They'd have to get by the Bruins and the Capitals. Obviously, that's the best-case scenario. He is centering the second line and the second power play unit, and he still has a year on his contract, but regardless, I would still say hold, would lean towards sell. Next, we have the acquisition of Sam Bennett by the Florida Panthers. His 15-16 Young Guns is McDavid's year, and he's spent his career battling him in Alberta. And unfortunately, Sam's card has not had this same price increase that McDavid's has. As you can see by his chart here, his price has been pretty stagnant throughout this season, selling for under $4 most of the year. And as we take a look at his trends, I should point out that that highest sale is actually skewed because the eBay data is actually taking into account the Sam Bennett, Connor McDavid checklist card and not the actual Bennett card. So his card hasn't really increased in value that much, even looking at his rookie year. It was always below $5. Florida is a much smaller hockey market, but a better hockey team. He already has 2 goals, and he will be going to the playoffs. He's an RFA after the season, but unfortunately, I don't think this move really increases much of his value, and his card isn't going up or down. So my final verdict is hold. And last, we have the trade between the Capitals and the Red Wings, with the Capitals getting a little physicality with Anthony Mantha, and Stevie Y and the Red Wings getting some skill with Vrana, as well as Panic, a first-rounder and a second-rounder. Mantha's card has certainly increased over the last 30 days, starting over $6 and finishing up above the $20 range, near $24. So it's trending up, and if we look at the specifics, you'll see it's up almost 200% with the last 14-day average sale at $16.43 compared to the start of the period at $8. So if you think that's the peak for Mantha, you can certainly go ahead and sell if you like those short-term gains since he got the bump from being traded to a Cup contender. But he still has a 4-year contract, and the Capitals are always Cup contenders. So my final verdict is hold and to look to buy next preseason. Meanwhile, Jacob Vrana's card has actually done the opposite and has been decreasing since January over the last 90 days. Looking at his trends, you can see the average sale at the start of the period was $29, but the last 14-day sale average is actually $17.41, with a change of about 45%. Vrana is a restricted free agent at the end of the season. He has a lot of talent, and Steve Yzerman is a genius, and I trust they can rebuild that team. His young gun price is dipping because of the trade to one of the worst teams in the league, but I think we can find true value here, so I say buy. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you got some good insight and enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe and tune in for more. I'm going to have a ton of these.